everybody, it's Vicky here, back in the kitchen. Sunday today. I had to stop doing what I was doing last night, yesterday evening, because I couldn't do any more. So what have I got here? Remember yesterday I said I cut up a whole bunch of onions and tomatoes. Then I had to leave it overnight and then drain off the brie, or I forget what it's called, but the water, the juice that comes out of the tomatoes. So that's a fairly dry mix now. So now what I want to do, so I'll just cheat a little bit, I'll get the hot plate going. It'll be a bit tricky cooking today, given what I wanted to cook and sort of like everything I've got. So I've had to split the recipe. I don't know if I said that. I'm just getting into the swing of things. So I've got 2 kg here, and I've split it so that there's another 2 over on the sink. So of course, having done that, I've measured out. So this is split. So I've got mustard, curry powder, and cayenne pepper in there. We just need a little bit of corn flour to thicken the brew as it cooks, so we'll put those over there for the moment. We don't actually need them. So there's the curry powder, the mustard, and the pepper. So that's there. And then I've also split the sugar. Okay. Katie decided to have a chat. So you just barely cover the mixture with the vinegar, and then you want to get the sugar in there. And I tend to like to stir a little bit, get it fairly well stirred, because I don't want it to catch on the bottom of the pot. So we're going to be putting this on the hob, and what we have to do is we just have to boil it rapidly for 5 minutes and get it going nice and bubbly. And then we're going to put the spices in, and then we're going to cook it gently, probably for about an hour. I used to always, like, I haven't done this, I haven't done a recipe, gosh, I'm in trouble speaking, aren't I? I haven't made a relish mix since we've been down here, so that's like 11 odd years since I've done this. So it used to just be something I did every time we had, it was at least a couple of months out of every year. I was constantly putting tomatoes on for relish or tomato sauce or what have you. So we're going to put that on the stove now, and we do nothing else with that until it comes to the boil, and then I guess we've just got to watch it. So for 5, we've just got a little bit of, the pot wasn't quite clean, so if you put your pot, as you would know, on the hot plate, and it's got a bit of gunge on the bottom of it, you will burn it into the stove. So now that I've done that, I don't need that for the moment. Now remember yesterday we did a vegetable soup together. Well, that cooked overnight. So it comes up out, so you can see this is like a huge pot of soup, and it is about 2 litres. So I don't know if I can get it in there so you can see all that beautiful yumminess, and you can see the chunks and the broth, and I have no idea what it tastes like, so this probably would be a good time for me to tell you what it tastes like. That's a good brew. So there are times when I will leave these like this with the broth and the vegetables, and then there are times when I will mix it up. So just give me a minute, I'll try and lift you up without feeling dizzy just a little bit. That's me trying not to be on the camera. So I'm doing this, I can't see what I'm doing here, so hopefully that will give you a better look. So that's all the As long as you get your measurements right when you're splitting recipes, it's not a problem, but it just means you've got double the time. So this is my new toy. I don't know why I didn't have one of these like many years ago, but never mind, I've got one now. I'm not really a gadget person in the kitchen, so I'm just going to blitz this up now. So I'll stop talking because I'll have to mute it. So what I'm aiming for is just to thicken up that broth. But I also don't want to pulverise all the vegetables. I want little bits of vegetable to still be in there and to be recognised. So just so that it's got that extra texture. And some croutons on top of that with some crusty hot bread is just a meal that will fill you up wholesome goodness. So if you remember yesterday, we marinated some chicken for some butter chicken. So we need to get that out and we need to cook that now. Still haven't oiled our trusty door, have we? So we want our chicken. Now I got some cream out of the freezer because it was going to go off, so it's quite separated and a bit runny. But for cooking it's fine. Tablespoon of sugar, a cup of so we've got passata. We need a cup of both the cream and passata. That's Cody walking down the hallway. We've got protective, like a cardboard that's taped down onto the tiles so that they don't damage them while they're working. So Louis sounds funny on them. Oh, so that really does look a bit disgusting, but it's just because it's been in the freezer. So we need a cup. Where's a cup? Oh, there's a cup. Okay. So I was saying that I just sweep up as I go. I've just put the mustard, the dry mustard everywhere. So I've done it once over, so now I'm back to just in case, you know, like I might leave the kitchen, go up to the bedroom and I might have mustard all in my shoe and I don't want to tread it around. So that's not far off starting to bubble. So what did I say? So if you can't get the lid off a jar, what you do is you tap it with the back of the spoon. Just tap. And it comes off, whereas I would never be able to get that off. So yeah, handy hint there for you. So we'll pour out a cup of our, and then I've got another cup in there, and I'm wanting to do some tandoori chicken today and some curried sausages and the boys' meals. So I have all these grandiose plans, don't I? And I fall afoul. So what we want now is I think it's only those 3 ingredients now. Tablespoon of sugar. See what I did with my, oh there they are. How am I supposed to find them when they're in plain view? So I'll just give that a little bit of a wipe. It's got a bit of mustard on it. So what I want here is I just want a tablespoon of sugar. Yeah, it's in their cup, but I'm having trouble finding those little bowls that are over there. So So I'm just using the little egg whites, they work just as well. Chill away. Now we want just a pinch of salt. There we go. And they also say butter. I don't tend to worry about weighing this out because I really just put a little bit of butter in there. It's a stoneware saucepan, so it shouldn't stick anyway. Just put a little bit in there for a bit of a taste. So, butter, passata, cream, salt, sugar. Right, we're in business. So what we do now is we put that on to melt. So this is what our marinade looks like that we did yesterday. So we just get our hands in there, get mucky. Don't be afraid to get mucky if your hands clay. I'm as a disclaimer, I'm not a chef, as it's probably very evident. I'm just doing this because I'm in the kitchen and I thought it would be nice that I could get away from the desk with your company. So that's basically it. So like I was saying, I don't want this to cook a huge amount. And the other thing to be mindful of too is when you're browning things off, don't overcrowd the pan that you're doing it in. You know, like we've all got the tendency to just like, oh well, I'll shove all this in at once and then it'll cook quicker and then we'll be in business quicker. What ends up happening is like with beef, for example, I really like to get that crusty flour, pepper, salt coating on it. And it just goes into a hot pan and you turn it around a few times just to sear it and coat it. And then you get it out and put it in the casserole dish. If you overcrowd your pan, things are in there long cooking and they tend to stew up, and that's what makes them tough. So we just want to get these cooked. So 5 minutes from now, we can add the spices into this. And this will reduce down quite a bit, but to start it off, it was just too much to have in the pot. So it's better off to be a little bit patient and take longer to do it than to just rush it and have a big fat hot boiling mess bubbling up over the saucepan. So you get my drift there. So we've got that going there, so I can leave that for a moment. What I need to do is I need to so in between times, what I can do is get some of that soup in the freezer containers. Just a minute, I better check this. You think you know what you're doing? Chicken, place chicken for 2 minutes. Add tomato, cream, sugar, salt, turn down once and for 20 minutes. Yep, good to know. It's always good to check no matter how many times you cook something, unless it's just so ingrained. But when I'm with a recipe, I do tend to check. But sometimes I just don't have a recipe, so I can just wing it, like the vegetable soup that's there. Does taste yellow. So bubbling. If I get this sieve out now, I can probably put the slow cooker away. Three things happening here at once. So I feel that I'm not really good at multitasking. And what we want to do now, because this is going into hot liquid, I mix this up with water, a little bit of water, before it goes in. Otherwise, you run the risk of it going all lumpy. So this is half the mixture. Well, I use water, and I normally mix it up with a little bit of vinegar. So I'm going to use some vinegar, and if I pour it into the cap first, I've got more control over how much goes in there, because I just want to paste. So we'll mix all that around. And you can see that turning it out. Just need a little bit more. And then I've got a lovely paste. Just give the chicken a stir. No, we don't want, no, Cody. No, it's still no. Louis, sorry. I'm just pop that in there now. Now that won't clump up on us. And then we'll just mix it in. And that just mixes in beautifully. It's the same whenever you're mixing in flour or any sort of dry ingredient, corn flour, powders of any sort really. If you mix them with a little bit of something and put them in as a paste, or you could have them have it more liquid than that if you wanted to. So that's that. So we basically just leave that on its own for about an hour. It will go a deep colour red. I will show you the colour of it when it's done. You can pretty well tell everything breaks down nicely and has a nice deep rich colour. But we don't have to do anything else with that for about an hour or so. And we can get on and do what I'm doing here. So that to me is done. Turn that off. We'll bring this over here. Oops, before I use it. So here's a buttered chicken. That's our chicken. Now I don't want any of that liquid, so I'll just put that in the pot. So now what we're going to do, we're going to get our cream. So we'll put our cream in. Then we want the cassava. We'll cover that. I wish you could smell that chicken. It is delicious. So we take that. Nice. And that goes in. I'm just giving that a little stir in the saucepan. I could probably get that camera set up somewhere else so that you can be seeing that as well. So now I'm going to put in our sugar and our salt. Just give that another little stir. Get it all nicely mixed in. It's starting to darken. And our sausages are going to be jumping out of this skin in a minute. So now what I'm going to do is we'll go into the fridge. Oh, I think there might be too much. Two. No. So I'm just going to put this in the fridge and then we can have it tomorrow night for dinner or tonight whenever we feel like we want it. So that's a pretty big yield. There were lots of veggies if you remember. Meal's done. Colander, and I'll let that just drip while I do a couple of other things, and then we can put it into their tub to go in the fridge. So that should feed them during this week. Time is at 25 to 4. So I think I thought that I would be getting that relish in around 4 o'clock. So what I might do is I might stop here, leave what I'm doing, go and get some jars out of the store because I forgot to get them, and I'll be back to finish this off.